that I kiss you. I'm gonna trust that you fall. Laura, you trust me. Okay, let's do this. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, Laura, let's do it. All right, right.
Bro, that is insane. What? Tonight we're looking at the darkest TikToks that will haunt you forever. Welcome back, family. Before the video starts, I just want to thank all my channel members for the support. I'm not gonna lie, family, this video gets super intense, so watch at your own risk. If you're new here, join the 10% of the people that are subscribed and subscribe to the channel. Let's go.
In the pitch right now. I love you, Cracker. I do love you.
At this point, a lot of you guys are probably familiar with Timothy Treadwell, but this is interesting and different. It's speculated that this is the bear that killed him. This video that I got tagged in on TikTok shows a man by the name of Timothy Treadwell, also nicknamed the Grizzly Man, standing just feet away from a large grizzly bear that's in the process of consuming a salmon, and it's theorized that this is the very same bear that killed Timothy. For those that don't recall, Timothy was an avid bear enthusiast who spent the summers of 1990 through 2003 in the Alaskan wilderness, documenting his time with grizzly bears and building personal connections with them. From 1990 to 2002, it was smooth sailing, but in 2003, Timothy stayed one extra week in the Alaskan wilderness. The bears were getting ready for hibernation. One bear moved in that he wasn't too familiar with, and that bear, Bear 141, took Timothy's life, as well as the life of his girlfriend, Amy. There is also a 6-minute audio recording of this attack taking place, although it has not been released to the public. This was somebody's reaction to listening to it, though, so you know that it's terrible.
I mean, I feel like it obviously would be terrible. It's literally a bear eating another human. That audio would be horrific. It's crazy because he would have literally got out of there safe if he just did not stay that extra week.
August 26, 1991, in Downland Groves, Illinois, 41-year-old Mary Teresa stood beside her lawyer at the Fairview Avenue train station. She was a mother of 3, and that afternoon, she was on her way to finally end the bitter chapter of her life. She was meeting her ex-husband to sign the divorce papers. At 5:50 p.m., the warning bell started ringing. The crossing gates came down, and barreling toward the station was a freight train, BN 9912, screaming in at over 60 miles per hour. But Mary and her lawyer, they were deep in conversation, walking, focused, distracted. They stepped past the lower gates, and just as the ground began to tremble, her lawyer looked up and froze. He saw it, a wall of steel racing toward them. He stopped, but Mary didn't. Her mind was somewhere else, spinning with thoughts of the divorce, the kids, her life falling apart. She never even turned her head, and then boom! The train slammed into her like a missile. The impact lifted her off the ground and launched her down the tracks like a rag doll. She never had time to scream, and she was killed instantly. But the horror didn't end there, because just a few feet away, a man had been filming the train's arrival, and instead, he captured a death, a real-time recording of a woman's final moment. The train's engineer later said he saw her body every time he passed that spot, and it haunted him, until one day he couldn't take it anymore, and he quit. Mary's family filed a lawsuit, but in 1996, the court threw it out. The gates were down, the bells were blaring. They said Mary walked into it. No one was held responsible. No one paid. The train that killed her, BN 9912, was retired the very next year. If you guys want to hear more fucked up stories like this, then like and follow. Brad.
I don't know if you've ever seen this video, dude. This guy murdered his whole family, and then while he was in the interrogation room, he literally broke a hole through the wall and escaped.
I seen this, bro.
Have you seen this video
I didn't hear the whole story, but I seen the footage of when he bust through the wall.
Yes. This happened in 2024 in New Mexico. One day, his neighbors called the police because he heard gunshots coming out of their house that he lives in with his parents, his sister, and they also have a dog. Police pull up to the house. When they come, they see him walking outside of the house like he's trying to leave, damn near. They stop him to see what's going on. Instantly, they know something's wrong because he has like blood on him. When they go to the house, they see like drag marks all around his house. Pretty much what happened was he shot and killed his parents, then killed his teen sister, and then killed their dog. He dragged all their bodies to a ravine nearby and dumped their bodies into the ravine. And when the police came, they seen that the house, he was pretty much trying to clean it up and get rid of all the evidence. They end up arresting him. They take him to the interrogation room. And that's where that famous video comes from.
Where he kicks the hole in the wall.
Where he kicks the hole into the wall and escapes from the interrogation room.
They end up catching him?
That's the thing. They damn near catch him instantly. Like,
oh,
he doesn't even leave the building damn near. Like, he runs out. Like, he's like running around.
Yeah.
and they instantly see like, oh, he's not in there no more, and they run and go tackle his ass, catch him, and then arrest him again. This dude ended up going to jail for like
definitely
probably going to
desperate.
jail for a very long
bro,
time.
I think he's
Yeah.
cooked. He's probably going to jail for life.
Forever, yeah. He killed his whole
Killed
family.
your whole family, dog.
And then broke out of an interrogation room.
Yeah, and plus that's damaging their property
Yeah,
as
so
well.
God, yeah.
So it's like they just added an extra 20 years on your life for doing some shit like that, or extra 10.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
I would imagine, I mean, it only makes sense for him to get caught instantly, because if you punch a wall, like let's say you're in your house right now and you punch a wall, you would hear that. Like a lot of people in that area would hear that.
Seriously, again, nobody is forcing you guys to do this. Why is this happening? This is another TikTok video that I got tagged in, showing a person who's managed to squeeze not one, not two, but 3 fingers into elbow joints for pipes, and their fingers appear to be stuck, although I'm pretty sure this person's joking, and I honestly hope they are. Fortunately though, it's a human tendency to do things that we know we shouldn't be doing, sticking appendages where they shouldn't be going, and people have actually done this unironically, not on purpose, so here's what you're gonna do if you find yourself in this situation. You can first attempt to get this off using something like a lubricant. If that doesn't work and you have a metal file on hand, you can attempt to break it out yourself. Or what a lot of people do is call the fire department and have them get you out. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's just going to be an uncomfortable situation and something that you're going to look kind of foolish for. Again though, I'm pretty positive this guy is going to be able to get his fingers out without this. I'm sure he just did this for the video.
Well, I heard this thing. If cats like you,
Yeah.
do you think cats like you? Yes or no? Do they come up to you and shit?
Yeah, they do.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Nah, cause
I don't know if they like me, but they come up to me.
so this is like a real
Oh, shit.
superstition that if cats come up to you,
Yeah.
it means you're carrying a lot of bad energy. What? So check this out. So ancient Egyptians, they used cats. That's why they always had them around. They used cats because cats supposedly they will take bad energy away from you and disperse it. So that's why they come up. They always cuddle next to somebody that's attached to bad energy, negative energy. And who always has cats in folklore?
Who?
The witches. Because they're dealing with what? They're dealing with all that negative energy. So they have a cat there to take it so it doesn't
Also,
harm them.
it takes it away.
It takes it away. But let's say they come up to you, that means you have some on you. So they cleanse it and then you're good to go.
Nah, to be honest, like I believe in that bad juju. Like
No, that's an interesting theory. I feel like a lot of the times though, cats just want food. Yep, that's it. They just want some food, so they come up to you and be like, yo, will this stupid human feed me?
Said, maybe celebrities who are one-hit wonders are just the ones who refuse to sell their soul. Now, this is MIA, the woman behind the song Paper Planes. You know, remember 2010, around there, the song came out. Listen to what she says happened to her in the industry, and now I'm thinking one-hit wonders probably are people who refuse to sell their soul.
I met Jay-Z and I signed to Rock Nation. The first thing he told me to do is get plastic surgery. I'm not insecure because I would have got plastic surgery. People make it, they all can turn around and thank Beyonce because that's it. And enough is enough. I'm fucking coming for everyone now. And even Adele, because she's retired now, but her career would not exist if I hadn't made Jonathan Dickens into a manager. And when she gets an award, she thanks Beyonce. Oh, I didn't want to drink myself in blood and cover myself in swimming goop, in black goop, and fucking like wear devil horns to fucking sell a record. Fuck that. All be a witch. All be that. All of that. Fuck all of that.
She didn't want to wear devil horns. She didn't want to drip blood all over. Are you guys hearing this correctly? And you know this woman, right? You know the song, Paper Planes. Now, there are many other one-hit wonders. Think of the guy from... this guy, Atlian Childs. He won X Factor in Australia in 2010. He subsequently, his career changed. He dropped a 4-hour video exposing Freemasonry and what they wanted him to do in the entertainment industry. People are coming out and blowing the whistle and exposing the inner workings. You'd think Hollywood ideally is like this organic movement that's like, let's entertain people and like give them fun things to think about. It's just not the case. There's something else going on here. Now, the majority of the entertainment industry is used to manipulate our conscious minds, subconscious minds, put us in a lowered state. The other way they do that is through the chemicals in the food, air, and water supply, which is part of the plan to keep us in a lowered state so we can be easily manipulated.
what do you do in a situation like this? I'll tell you. And by the way, I'm a dog behavior expert, but I specialize in working with really aggressive dogs. And I've also traveled around backpacking with my own dog and had this situation happen before. You only have a few seconds to react in a situation like this. So what I would do is turn around really quickly and bang as hard as I could on that metal gate behind her. You're going to make a super loud sound to scare those dogs. You're going to keep your eyes on them though. And if you have a cell phone, you can use that. It's an edge. It can exact a lot of force if you hit something with it. So don't go down. Don't panic. Keep your back to something so that they're only coming at you from the front. And if you have to, you can hit the dog in the head with the edge of the cell phone. And also the woman on the scooter, total baddie, jumping off, and she does the exact right thing, makes a lot of noise with that metal pail.
Nah, for real, big W's to the people that decided to help her, I'm not gonna lie.
The reason they teach you to like put your head down in a crash and stuff like that is to make, because if you crash headfirst in an airplane, not only are you for sure gonna die, but just to make sure, like if you're in that position, your spine would shoot through your fucking head. Like it would kill you instantly, right? So the theory is that they have you get in that position to make sure you die. Because the lawsuit, if you survive a commercial plane crash, is like ridiculous.
That's a wild.
It makes sense to me. I get everything's run by money, dude.
We talked about that conspiracy theory like in our video from months ago, and I still be thinking about like, is what he's saying really true? Because I read some comments that people were like, nah, it's actually for safety, it actually helps you. But then there's also people that's like, nah bro, like they just want you to die because they don't want to get sued. But at the same time, when a plane crash happens, people's family could sue the company regardless.
This video went viral like a couple weeks ago, and it was about this kid named Nicholas Prosper, and he was 18 years old when all this stuff happened. This kid already had a bunch of problems like growing up, because I guess he had like severe autism, and he was kind of like an outcast in school, things like that. But he never got bullied though. He was getting obsessed with a lot of weird stuff online, where he would like looking up things with
oh shit.
He would look at necrophilia, and he became obsessed with like Sandy Hook. I guess this one day he was playing his favorite video game, which was the Walking Dead game. I don't know if you
yeah, the Telltale game, right?
Yes. He became like obsessed with that game, and I guess one day him and his sister, who's his younger sister, they were playing the game together. She messes up in the game. He gets super pissed, and he makes this video that a bunch of people are like, ah, yeah, bro, this is weird. Where he pretty much said his sister made a grave mistake, and for that, her face needs to be mutilated.
Whoa.
He was just saying a bunch of weird stuff, like saying that he was chosen by Clementine, one of the characters.
Yeah.
He ends up finding a way to buy an illegal firearm. He gets a shotgun out there in England. He waits until like 5 a.m. when his whole family is asleep. His mom ends up waking up to his surprise. She goes to bro's room. He's in there with the gun, and he's already holding it, like basically loading it up.
Yeah.
And his mom sees him. She's like, what are you doing? And where did you even get a gun? She instantly jumps on him, trying to get the gun out of his hands. He fights with his mom. They get into like this big like tussle. He ends up shooting his mom point blank in the face.
Damn.
Those are right there. His brother and sister, who are 13 and 16, yeah, they both wake up from it, and they're coming out like, what the hell is even going on? Instantly, he and it like grazes her. So she's still alive. She goes and hides under a table. Bro goes under the table. He's like throwing the chairs and stuff, and straight in the head too. And then after that, his brother runs to the kitchen, grabs a knife, and he was pretty much trying to defend himself. And he starts like slashing at his brother and stuff like that. He gets on top of his brother and like over 1,000 times.
Whoa.
Bro, he's hella times. He gets like ready, leaves his house, and he heads towards this elementary school, which was his old elementary school. And his plan was he was going to go over there and try to kill at least 30 people. He said to get his count up. Luckily, when he goes to the elementary school, the school was not open yet because it was still too early in the morning. So it was like right before the school was about to open. And a bunch of people call the police. They let them know like there's something going on next door. Police end up getting a bunch of cars going around the area where bro was last seen. And they ended up finding him hiding out close to his elementary school. They grab bro, they take him in. When they have him, they go and they see the whole crime scene, bro. The weirdest thing that this kid did was he left this book on top of his mom's corpse. And the book is titled How to Kill Your Family.
Really?
Yes.
That's like a real book.
It's a real book, yeah. And he left it on top of his mom's body right before he left.
This happened last year.
This happened literally the end of last year. So pretty much this year, technically, yeah.
Dude.
In 2009, a 23-year-old man named Chris, along with his date,
walked into a McDonald's in London, England. The following day, Chris had a very important job interview in the morning. This dinner in McDonald's was going to be the last part of the date. This McDonald's was dirty, it was packed with people, not exactly a romantic location for a date, but this was all Chris could afford. They hopped in line and they ordered their food and their drinks. After receiving them, began looking for tables. So they began walking around, and eventually they would find a table where there was one guy sitting there just eating his meal, and Chris very politely asked this guy, hey, would you mind if we sat here too? And the guy just kind of looked at him and he was like, sure, go ahead. Chris realizes the guy they're sitting with is no longer just looking at his food. He stopped looking at his food and he's just staring across the table at Chris's date. And like the way he's looking at the date does not seem friendly. Chris looks at this guy and he's like, what's going on? And this guy just begins insulting Chris's date. He says to Chris's date, you're an ugly pig. Chris is like, I can't just sit here. And so Chris, who had actually never been in a fight in his whole life, stood up and he was like, hey man, get up. But as soon as he did that, Chris realized he had made a horrible mistake. Chris, he was only about 5'8" tall. And this guy, when he stood up, towered over Chris. But Chris, he just kind of winds up and hits him once. But then this huge guy just proceeds to beat the living crap out of Chris. After Chris had been battered by this total jerk, the guy kind of wandered off and was not held to account in any way. Chris looked at his date and she was totally rattled by it, and Chris was super embarrassed at this point. They left the McDonald's and they both went to their respective homes, and Chris just went to bed. And then the next morning, when Chris got up early because he has this big job interview, went into the bathroom and he saw he had this enormous black eye. He wondered what they would think of him if he showed up looking like this ruffian. But he was like, you know what? This is the biggest opportunity I've ever had. I just gotta go in there, try to be confident, and don't let the black eye define the outcome. Later that morning, Chris goes into the building. He's having his interview, and he can tell they're all staring at his black eye, but nobody brought it up. By the end of it, he had no idea what the interviewers thought of him. He thanked them for the opportunity, and he left thinking, I'm not gonna get the job. Not long after this interview, Chris got some shocking news. He had gotten the job, and it actually might have been because of his black eye. This job interview was actually an audition for a starring role in an upcoming TV show. And the character that Chris was auditioning for was this guy who's gotten into fights. Chris rolls in here looking like a guy who gets into fights, and they're thinking, oh my goodness, he can hit his lines, he's got the charisma, and he's even a ruffian himself. He fits the character perfectly. He's our guy. Chris got cast, and this TV show that he starred in became one of the most popular TV shows in the entire world. And so Chris went from who could barely afford a McDonald's to being this amazing actor who was getting nominated for Golden Globe Awards and was an A-list star. Today, Chris is better known by his stage name, Kit Harington. And the starring role that he landed that changed his life was the role of Jon Snow in Game of Thrones.
What a W story, man. Good for Chris, dude. He took something bad and made it into something good. You know what I'm saying? We need to be more like Chris.
We still need humans?
Not for most things. We'll decide. First, we've got population. Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. We believe unbelievable progress can be made, both inventing new vaccines and making sure they get out to all the children who need them. And the benefits there in terms of reducing sickness, reducing the population growth, it really allows the society a chance.
Is a huge source of emissions, and there's new ideas about genetics and direct seeding. With cows, you can vaccinate them, change the genetics.
Most of the time you're online, you're going to want to be in an environment where the people are truly identified. That is, they're connected to a real-world identity that you trust instead of just people saying whatever they want.
Honestly, after my Antarctica deep dive, we might have to do a Bill Gates and vaccines deep dive because, like, he's so big on population decrease and vaccines and how vaccines change certain genes. Bro, we're cooked. Anything that has to do with Bill Gates, vaccines, and food, we're not doing it.
How do they know which ashes to put in which box? And then I realized, oh, fuck, they don't know.
Tell me about multiple cremations.
Sure. Well, back then, because of the multiple cremations, see, I could cremate one guy in like 2 hours, or you could put 10 of them in there and it takes 2.5 hours.
10 people in that small space?
Difference? There is none. Hard-hearted as that sounds, there is none. To me, commingling of ash is not a big deal.
That's beyond commingling.
I don't put any value in anybody after they're gone and dead, as they shouldn't and when I'm gone and dead. That's not a person anymore.
If I was someone with an urn right now, I would be so upset because, like, what he's saying makes sense. Like, for them to put 10 people at once so it takes less time. But morally, I don't know if it makes sense morally.
This video should terrify you. She's part of an experiment, but she doesn't know it. Now you see these people, they're in on it. You see, she's facing the elevator exit. They're facing a wall that leads to nowhere. But because they're all doing it, watch what she does. She eventually folds and turns towards the wall, heading nowhere. Now maybe she was just a follower, but now the guy in the white shirt is part of the experiment. Everybody faces towards him. He looks confused, but in a short period of time, he turns around and conforms. Now this is where it really gets crazy. He's the victim, right? They walk in and they face him, and he looks really, really confused. Eventually, he folds like everybody else, but then he starts to spin exactly like how they're spinning. Crazy, right? The harsh reality is that this is how most people are. It's easy to laugh and say that you would never be a sucker that does this, but most people don't understand the magnitude and how much people they're around affect their behaviors. It would be wise for you to be careful about who you're around, because everybody's a free thinker until they're in a room with a bunch of people facing the wrong direction.
Honestly, the deeper message in that video was very tough. Like, it was very, very understandable and very needed. But honestly, me personally, I am not doing a 360 in an elevator just because I see 3 other people doing a 360 in an elevator, dude.
Now, the conspiracy theory that's going to blow your mind?
Let's do it.
The day before 9/11, Rumsfeld gave a press conference where he talked about trillions of dollars missing. Then, a plane slams into the very part of the building where they were doing the accounting. You have to see it. What the f did he just say?
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
Hey, what's up? Your mom's picking you up, right? Yeah. She sent me to pick you guys up. I don't know you guys' mom, by the way. What? Yeah, I don't know your mom. Why'd you get in the car?
Because you said you knew her mom.
Yeah, well, I don't, so.
Gee, what? Call on.
Call her up right now. Call your mom up. We're setting you guys up because you just got in my car. Like, you didn't even check with your mom to make sure if someone else was picking you guys up. You just jumped in my car and you trusted me. We wanted to test you guys, and you failed.
You said you knew her mom.
Why'd you trust me without checking with your mom?
For all my parents watching this video right now, share this, clip this, cut this part of your video, and just show your kids this, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that they know never to just get in some random person's car. Because honestly, if that guy had bad intentions, those kids would have never been seen again.
That I catch you, I'm gonna trust that you fall. Laura, you trust me. Okay, let's do this. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, Laura, let's do it. All right. I got your attention. You put the power of trust in yourself because you want to trust only you. She's okay. She's all right. She's fine. I've done this.
Yo, she is not fine, bro. Do we have her head back? It's over.
If you're anything like me, you're probably wondering why all of these people are crying out after seeing this coconut be split like this, and as it turns out, this is bad news for these people. The video that you guys just watched went super viral, probably because there's no context to it. In it, this guy can be seen cutting a coconut, all of these people are spectating, and after the coconut is split, they start looking progressively more and more sad and start crying out. Before some context, the group of people seen in this video are the Lamaholot people. They are from Indonesia, they're native to a few of the islands out there, and this ceremony is known as Lawak Tapo, or the coconut splitting ceremony, where they split a coconut and use that to determine the cause of an unnatural death. Results of the splits do have to be inspected by a shaman to determine what the cause of death was, but generally speaking, if it's not a perfect split, it means that somebody sinned and that's why they died. And if it is a perfect split, it means that it was natural causes. So knowing that, this split right here probably meant the person died from some sort of personal wrongdoing, a sin, a curse, so that's why they're not very happy about it.
It's a prank. They got a doctor to wake him up and tell him, you're waking up from a 12-year coma.
You've been in a coma for the past 10 years. Well, all right.
One of their friends got arrested because they were driving drunk and they were passed out. Okay. Because they got into like an accident, hit like a sign
But they were
or whatever.
actually drunk.
Yeah, they were drunk driving. So what they did, since he was so knocked out, they put him in a hospital, like simulated hospital room. Okay. They got a doctor to wake him up and tell him, you're waking up from a 12-year coma.
Can you hear me? You're in the hospital. You're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine.
Wow. Look at you.
You just woke up. And he's like, what? What happened?
Some time ago, you decided you was drinking. You was out drinking and you decided to drive and there was an accident. This accident took place back in 2013. Miss McKee, this is 2023. You've been in a coma for the past 10 years. Well, all right. They've been contacted. They're on their way. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to be all right. Make sure, let me check on my colleague. Make sure he's in here. He's going to help you better make a transition from where you've been to where you need to be. It's all right. Just try to relax.
And then another doctor came in and started slapping his face. That's why you don't drink and drive. That's why you don't drink and drive.
Close your eyes. You feel this? You feel that?
A little bit.
Feel that? Feel that? Feel that? All right. You feel that?
Yeah.
See, yeah. Feel that? You feel that? Yeah. Dude, look. Yeah, 5 DUIs. 5 DUIs.
5 DUIs is crazy. This is why we don't drink and drive, guys.
The men that worked in the boiler room were actually the real heroes of the Titanic. In the movie, the Titanic gets hit by the iceberg and the crew members try to seal up these watertight doors in order to contain the flooding. If they sealed them up, then they won't spill over like this picture. Everyone would have been safe because in their minds, the flooding wouldn't have spread. We see everyone trying to survive and get safely on the other side, and then not everybody gets there. Then the movie goes on and the ship sinks, and when the ship sinks, it is believed that the lights flickered and then they went out. People then said that the movie wasn't accurate to what it would have looked like in real life, and it would have looked more like this where it was sinking in the dark. But a new discovery was made that proves that neither of these things might be true. They recently did the creepiest 3D scan of the ship that changes everything. And from this, they were able to make a model of it. People thought that when the iceberg hit, it tore really big holes, but in reality, it was more like tiny scrapes. This is another photo from the scan. See that the window's kind of broken? People think that the iceberg scraped it. The amount of time that it took for the iceberg to scrape it was also shorter than people thought. It was 6.3 seconds. Now this is the big picture that changes everything. This is a scan of the boiler room, and if you look at it, you can notice that there was a steam valve left open while the ship was going down, meaning somebody was still working down there even when the ship went under. And before this picture, nobody thought that was the case. And this picture means that the generators were likely still running, so the lights were on much longer than people originally thought. So while many of the crew members were trapped, others stayed behind deliberately trying to keep the power on to help the people on the ship escape. You know, people were upstairs trying to navigate the decks and they needed light so they could safely get to their lifeboats. I also thought this picture was insane. I never think about the Titanic on the ocean floor like this, like we only see the top of the ship. They also hoped that if the ship stayed illuminated longer, it would be visible to the ships nearby, like the Californian or the Carpathia, and it would be easier to signal for help. On top of this, them having power meant that they were able to send distress signals for longer. So these brave men that worked in the boiler room stayed alive longer, knowing they were not going to survive, to try to help others at least be seen or survive, and they are the true heroes of the Titanic. Follow for more.
Speaking of curses, bro, the Red Ranger from Wild Force, the Power Rangers version of that.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
It was this guy named Ricardo Medina. One day, him and his roommate got into an argument. He pulls out a samurai sword. His roommate. Whoa. Yes, inside of his apartment. And he got only 6 years in prison for it.
What?
And this happened in 2015.
Yo.
Yes. Dude, this list goes so deep. Jason David Frank. What recently happened with him
that's Tommy.
Yeah, in 2022. Because he was going through like a lot of hardships in his life and life just got the better of him. Also, another Red Ranger from Ninja Force, which was one of my favorite Power Ranger series, ended up abusing his wife at the time. Something crazy, like he was beating her up and all this other it got to the point where media ended up picking up the story. It goes viral because he was getting canceled at the time. This was 2018.
Damn.
He
Whoa. Wasn't Tommy also a Red Ranger at one point?
Yes, Tommy was also a Red Ranger.
So
I know, it's like almost the curse of the Red Ranger.
No,
yes.
for reals.
Yes, it's very strange. But the next one is actually about the original Yellow Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, from the OG one.
From the OG, yes. When she was 27 years old, she ended up getting into a crazy ass car accident that ended her life in 2001. Yeah. I'm not done though, bro.
There's more.
There is more, dude. This is the one that blew my mind. There was this little boy who was an extra on the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and his name was Skylar DeLeon. One day, he lured this couple onto a yacht and
the little boy.
Yes, but he was older at this time.
Okay,
he was a little bit older.
When he got older.
When he got older. Yeah.
Wow.
And he got like 20 years in prison or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Tonight, terrifying moments playing out close to 205 feet in the air after riders say a child's seatbelt became unlatched on the Mamba roller coaster in Kansas City, Missouri, captured in this photo.
The first drop halfway through the hill, I'm sorry, this is really emotional because this little girl, the scream that she screamed, I've never heard anything like that before in my entire life.
Cassie and Chris Evans say they were riding the Mamba at the Worlds of Fun theme park earlier this month when they heard the young girl's screams.
Then she said, my seatbelt came off. There was this big of a gap between her and the lap bar.
The Mamba, the park's tallest roller coaster, reaching speeds of 75 miles per hour. The two quickly clutching both the girl and her friend until the end of the 3-minute ride. Afterward, reporting the incident to a ride attendant. According to the Missouri Department of Public Safety, more than 20 lap belts were not functioning properly when inspected that morning.
This photo was taken at Disneyland in 1980. If you look in the far right hand corner, that's a little girl named Donna. She was 5 years old in this photo, and this photo was taken by her mom while they were on vacation. 22 years after this photo was taken, she is going through her family photo album with her fiance Alex, and they come across this photo. They're about to flip the page, and then Alex says, "Wait a minute, that's me." And Donna says, "What do you mean? The guy in the costume? This is you?" He's like, "No." He says, "This is me in the back in the stroller. That's my dad, and that's him pushing me in my stroller on our vacation." The crazy thing is they lived in Canada at the time, and Donna and her family lived in Florida. So they lived in two completely different countries, and they both happened to be visiting Disneyland at the same time. So they're both in shock and in disbelief, and they even go to Alex's home, get his family photo book, go through the photos of that vacation, and sure enough, they see him, his dad in the stroller. Dad's wearing the same outfit. It's 100% confirmed. So more than 15 years after they met as adults, nowhere near this location, they were both at Disney at the same time, within a few feet of each other. And then they would go on to meet as adults, get engaged. They have kids of their own. They're married now. But man, you want to talk about coincidences? I don't believe so. This was a fascinating story to me.
There's this 23-year-old kid named Rafael Perez, and he's out of this airport in Chimalacán, Mexico. And this kid, he's gonna fly on his own for the first time. So he takes off at 9:15 a.m. And right away he notices that it's very foggy. So he really has not really a good sense of where he is. He can't quite find the airport. And so he tries calling in with a radio. He doesn't really hear back from them. It's sort of garbled static. So he takes the yoke and he tries to bank the airplane left, but the airplane doesn't go left. It just continues flying in a straight line. The plane begins to climb, and he's not making the plane climb. The plane is climbing on its own. There was like this huge cloud that he was basically flying into. He can't see anything, and he passes out. He wakes up in the cockpit, has no idea how long he's been asleep for, but he's immediately shocked that, holy cow, I did not crash the plane. He also looks out the window, and there's no more. And then at about 11:30, Rafael wakes up. No one has any idea how Rafael wound up over the coast, and the Mexican government quickly took this story, buried it, and now you can only access it in this obscure library in Mexico.
That's cap, because Mr. Ballin just told us about it, so it's definitely not classified whatsoever. But in my opinion, I think those aliens are right. Like, we are definitely due for a nuclear holocaust, and we definitely are on the brink of extinction if we do get to that nuclear holocaust.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it.
Tim Russert, the moderator of Meet the Press and NBC's Washington bureau chief, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
Bro was asking too many questions. They went and got him out the way. That's crazy.
Check this out. When they walk into a grocery store is what's called front of shop, in which you'd find the produce section as well as the flower section. This isn't mere coincidence. It's by universal design. A store's produce section plays a large role in how much consumers will spend. Not only that, grocery stores use very specific directional lights aimed at fruits and vegetables to make their colors pop. Now, once your visual appetite is satisfied, stores have to make sure you don't just pick some fruits and bounce. They need you to walk by as many items as possible. This is when the traffic builder method comes into play. Ever wondered why milk and bread are always way at the back of the store? This tactic is designed to increase the likelihood of impulse purchases along the way. Since milk is a staple item, putting it at the back ensures that shoppers will pass by various other products, which means more impulse buys. That's also why some of the best deals are typically way at the back. Now, once they get you in the central section of the store, this is when they make the real money off of you. At the beginning of the video, I told you grocery stores are in the real estate business. This is what I mean. 50 to 75% of grocery stores' profit is from slotting fees. Food companies and brands spend a tremendous amount of money to place their products at a certain location inside stores shoppers typically encounter.
Who says North Korea doesn't have an election and vote system?
Oh, it's... man. I want to throw this laptop in the side. Who said North Korea doesn't have election and vote system? Yes, they do. And you have to vote, otherwise you're gonna be persecuted as a traitor.
Can you watch it from the beginning to the end without stopping it?
Yeah.
It's short.
Who says North Korea doesn't have an election and vote system?
Oh, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, like, join it or something.
What happens if you vote for someone besides Kim Jong-un?
I bet if you just turn in blank piece of paper, nobody would check it. Because they don't need to. Because why would you? I mean, Kim Jong-un has the power to rule them all. Showing up is what's most important, right? If you don't show up, then that's when you actually get punished.
Please just stay home next time. Please just stay home. If you're 25 and you're thinking about coming to Disneyland, folks, it is after dark, and that means I can say what I want to say. Disney adults are genuinely weird. I'm talking about you guys. There's no kids on this cruise. Why are you here? This isn't on the script. This isn't part of the bit. I genuinely think you guys are weird for being on this cruise. At least when kids are riding, they laugh. You guys just sit there on your photo that you paid $500 to be here today. And you don't even have a good excuse for doing it because you're all at least 20. What the hell is that? Go to a club, go to a party, or stay inside. Don't bring the vibe down on my cruise. It's weird. Mickey Mouse isn't your friend. Trust me, I know. He's my boss. He bleeds me like a vampire. The magic of this place should have worn off for you guys when you reached the age of 12. And now I just gotta deal with your goofy asses ruining of engaging with the act. So I'm seriously pleading with...
There's a part of me that feels like that was a voice overlay and he really did not say none of that. Because I'm looking at it, I'm just like, dude, I've never been to Disney, ever. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 20s. If I go when I'm 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, why does it matter? Like, why does it matter? Like, what if I just wanted to go there with, like, a girl or something? Like, no, I can't go because I'm not 12. Shaking my head, bro. Subscribe to the family.
Thank you all for watching this here video.